Hello and welcome back to uFactory. Once again, I'd like to thank Lucid Silence Games for providing me with the key to play this for you today. In our last episode, we played through a handful of the tutorials, most of the ones that are available actually, and then we started taking a look at one of the pre-built scenarios, and that is a scenario with the objective of exporting 700 unpainted toy blocks per day and 500 painted toy blocks per day at a minimum, with an optional boost objective here of 1500 and 1200 respectively. So down here we're bringing in paint and wood logs, and in the design that I'm working toward, it doesn't matter which direction they're in, it's just good enough that they're there. We also have all of these, we have a sawmill that's carving those wood logs into unpainted toy blocks, and you can see here on the graph that most of the time it's waiting for output to happen, which makes some sense because it's carving 24 blocks every 4 seconds, and we're only using 1 block every 2 seconds for this process, for this series of processes rather. And for this process, we're carving each face using this laser cutter, carving each face of the block, 1 face at a time per cutter. And that's hopefully going to give us the what we need as far as throughput here, because we weren't getting very much with 1. We're getting, I don't know, probably just a few per day. But as you can see, our current objective is still increasing. I did let the game run on fast speed for a while, and got ourselves up this far. I don't know how far this is going to go. We might not quite make it all the way there. But one of the things that's interesting about this game is when you first turn up the fast speed, it doesn't jump right away. You can see it slowly is not slowly increasing, but it's ramping up to that full speed. It doesn't jump right there, which is kind of a nice feature in the simulation. It kind of ramps up to full speed. So we're getting it here around 580, and we might just make 700, but we might not. And either way, I have some changes I'd like to make to this factory in order to accommodate what we might need to get up to the 1500. So what I want to do is pause. I want to watch all the arms move, and I want to pause, and I want to rearrange this just a little bit. Let's see, I want to delete a couple of these belts here, and then I'm going to move everything up by 2 spaces. And I'll show you why in a moment. Uh-oh, we may have a problem. All the blocks stay where they were. And I didn't do this in the last episode on purpose, because I wanted to show that that 4-second gap time here with the the gap time between the 24 blocks every 4 seconds, but only 1 block being used every 2 seconds here. So I'm adding in a belt, and then I'm going to add in a another mechanical arm. And this mechanical arm is going, so what's going to happen is this mechanical arm here is going to put these uncarved blocks, just these unpainted, uncarved blocks, onto this belt as kind of a storage buffer, but also so that I can parallelize this whole thing. So if you remember, this tutorial we didn't do because it wasn't working was called serialization. That's what we just did here. The parallelization is, okay, well now we can make however many we can make with this line. What if we add another line, or another line, or another line to that? And so we're gonna try to accomplish that today to start with. And then of course this mechanical arm is gonna grab from that and drop them into the series that we had looked at in the last episode. And so then what I want to do here is I want to move these all these belts over to the edge of the building. And so I think all these blocks that are here and floating are going to get lost, but that's kind of okay. And then right here, just before we get to the end of the, let's delete that one. Before we get to the end of the thing here, we want to do a couple of different belts. We want to have a left turn, and then a right turn. And I'm using the specific belts rather than the planning tool here, just because I want to make sure that it gets placed correctly. And then we need 1 more straight belt here, which I guess I could have moved from the other end and saved a little bit of money, but it's all right. Be fine. All right, so that is my new design, which will allow me to parallelize the block creation by adding in another belt here and another series of these machines as needed. We're going to go ahead and start the simulation up on slow, which should be fine. And then we're going to actually do that parallelization now. So what I want to do is I want to use the copy tool. That's this one. I want to copy, actually I want to copy the whole area here. I'm going to copy this whole area, and then I just want to drop it here. And that's where the power of this game really comes into play, is that kind of blueprinting functionality allows me to not only take the whole area, but also take the configuration of each one of these machines as they are in the first row and duplicate them into another row. So it's a really cool feature of this game, in my opinion, is being able to just do that, to just parallelize to my heart's content with the game. So that should give us some additional amount of output. I'm not sure how much more it's going to actually be, but we can do a simulation. We could just let it run fast and see what it does. This one hasn't finished, by the way, so it hasn't actually doubled our speed yet. But you can see now we're skyrocketing in the performance of everything. We've already gone a full day into the game, by the way, too. So we've met that first objective. The number is still going to increase here as time goes on. I'm not sure if we're going to get to 1500 with this line or not. So, plus we also have the others to do. So I want to leave some space here because we might want another 1 or 2 of these parallelized paths. But now we need to work on the painted blocks. So let's take a look at the other machine we have, which is the spray painter. I'm just going to drop one down here. The spray painter takes in an unpainted toy block or a painted toy block, and it takes in a fraction of a can of paint, and it performs the same types of steps as the CAD laser cutters, but it's obviously painting, and we need to have 2 items input. So this is going to be a little bit different of a build than the one we just did, because we need to have 2 items coming in, and remember, in this game, we can only have items coming in on one side, the side where the yellow arrow is. So we can't have like a mechanical arm inputting one thing from here and one thing from there. That will not work. Instead, what we have to do, and I'm still just kind of staging out an idea here, we want to do something like this, and then we want to have a piece of belt here, and then another mechanical arm here. And then we also need to have a belt that goes this way that has the paint on it. And so say we want the paint to only place on the near side of the belt here, which means we want to have whatever block, we don't have an input from here to this, but we want to have this only depositing on its left side. And I think that will give us the build we want if we parse it out and have each one of these sort of as a module, bringing the paint in like this, and then putting the blocks together like that. So what I want to do here is I want to figure out where I want to start this at. So we need to be able to grab those blocks off of this belt, and we might even want to do like a T-splitter or a what's the thing called? Actually, I can show you what it's called. It's called a configurable conveyor belt, in order to make sure that some of the blocks do in fact come where this can grab it, but I don't even think that's necessary. I think we'll actually just be fine with this. So let's look at where we're at currently for our production. We're ramping up still by quite a lot. We're at about 800, and we might need up to 2,700. So let's plan for maybe I don't know, 3 more here just in case. And then we want to put our mechanical arm 1, 2, 3. We'll put it here, and so it's going to grab blocks off the belt. It doesn't really care. I'm going to click on one of those blocks, by the way. Please. There we are. It's going to grab one of those toy blocks off the belt. And I don't really care what it grabs, how many it grabs, kind of thing, because this is going to be a stopped up process due to that also 2-second work cycle. Excuse me. So let's finish rearranging this. So we want that to output onto a belt, and we want it to we want it to only output onto the left side of the belt. Left okay, right no. And so it's going to just put a couple on there, and then it's going to get backed up. And then we want to move this grabber there, and the painting machine there, and this mechanical arm here, and then we can have our paint belt coming in here. And actually, let's pause. Yeah, because I need to change this. We want this to only paint the top face. And then we want to repeat this pattern. Now, I wonder if we can do... No, we can't, so never mind. I was going to say, I wonder if we can do just a mechanical arm and then another paint sprayer, but we can't because remember, we need to be able to put paint in this machine. So we need to repeat the whole thing, including the straight belt, and then another mechanical arm, and then another paint sprayer that is configured for the second step. And repeat that pattern for each step in the process. Oh, I need one more mechanical arm here. Repeat that step in the process for all 6 steps, or repeat this block for all 6 steps, which is a little bit tedious, but we could also use the copy tool as long as we're careful. Oops, except that I want the copy block tool like this. So let's do another one of those here. And you can see we're going to get to the edge of the game field here. So I want to actually not repeat this again and do something a little bit different. Let's put down a mechanical arm. And then we'll put down a belt. And then we want to do a bridge here. And the bridges actually, interestingly, go under. They don't go over, they go under, which is kind of a different thing. When you think of a bridge, you think of it goes over, but we want it to go under. And then we want to, let's see, this goes here, like that. So this is going to just drop those blocks onto the bridge. I don't care where they go onto the bridge, I just want them onto the bridge. And then we want to have another single belt here like this. Nope. There. And then we want to repeat our pattern again of these machines, but I think I need to do one thing. I need to change this to be front face only, because this is bottom face here. Top, bottom, front. And then I think I need to, yeah, I can do a partial range here of just these 3. Rotate it, drop it down there. No, I cannot actually. Yes, I can. I have ways. I want to change this to only be near okay. And I'll show you why in a little bit. And then I want to have a belt there, and then I can change this to be rear face only. And I also need to copy that whole range again. So we want to have one more there and one more there. And then we're going to have to reconfigure this belt as well, again. This was rear face, this needs to be left face, and this needs to be right face. So I think everything is configured properly. Now we just need to get the paint in here, which is what I was waiting to do. So let's pull this down. Oops. Pull this down here to that point. And then we're going to do this and this. So this one can output probably onto both sides. I'm okay with it being on both sides. It might not need to be on both sides. Actually, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do right okay, left no on both of these. This one's going to go here and then side load onto this side only. And we already set this mechanical arm up to only do its nearest side right there. So this belt will have the output of this block. So I have 3 sides painted, as well as it'll have some paint, and that'll go here to this, into this one to be input here. And then we need to have, of course, mechanical arms that I should have just copied from earlier, there and there. So we have now, I messed this up. This should have been here, not there. We need to have another belt here, and this one should have only been left okay, and this one should only be near okay. Problem is I should have done that all along. So we're going to do the copy configuration tool, copy from this one, and apply it to all of these 5. So that they only place, they only place to their near side. And then each one of these needs to place only to the left side. And this one's already configured to near okay. And then this one is grabbing both. This one's going to the left side only. This one left only. And this one actually doesn't matter. But I'll just do left only anyway. And we need to change these belts again, as I mentioned. So let's delete this. And we'll do a conveyor belt turn. There. And then we just need to have this merging in. Oops. I should have done that differently. Like that. So I didn't actually need to delete all of these and then put them all back again. I could have just put this in the right spot, but I didn't actually know where the right spot was. And this might not be the final answer either. We might have to make another change. Let's delete these two. I'll just put a straight belt in here. So what's going to happen is the unpainted blocks are going to come along this way. This is going to grab some of them and pass them in through this whole process here. The rest of them are going to continue along and go out this way. Meanwhile, the ones painted, this is going to go through and paint all those blocks and then put them here, which will then go onto this side of the belt. So let's start the simulation up and kind of show how this will work. So you can see these are side loading and they're only going to be on their nearest side. And then we have them staged here, but we have not, I messed up. Only messed up. Delete that, delete that. These should have been filtered. Here, filter for only cans of paint. And for you, only cans of paint. And I need to do one more clear. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. I forgot a step. You always forget a step with factory games. Especially factory puzzle games like this one is. Okay, so you can see that the mechanical arms are grabbing the paint off of this central belt here that we've added. And they are adding it onto their little buffer belts here, which is what we want. And once the paint gets all the way down here, this can actually kick off this process of painting the top face. And then just to check the bottom face and the front face, rear face, left face, and right face. Great. Yeah, you can see it's painting now. Let's do a rotate 15 degrees a couple of times here, so you can kind of see really what's going on. And then it's painting only one face for each machine, which is the same thing because this also has that 2-second retool between steps, and we definitely do not want that to happen because that slows everything down. So just like with the laser cutters, we want to have the separate painters as well. Painting here now. I just reset one of these because they should all run at the same once they're all spun up. And maybe I'll reset this one here at the end too, just for fun. And I can reset this one also. Like one at the beginning, one in the middle, one at the end kind of thing. I'll wait for this one to finish processing. So it did do a little retool because I assigned it a job. And so it had to do a retool to start itself off, which is fine. So now we have unpainted blocks and painted blocks all set. And that should give us some amount coming out here. So let's speed this up and see where we kind of get to as far as numbers. I don't know what we're going to get to. I've did this a little bit differently in my test game, and I'm trying what I think is a better build than the one that I did. So what we might have to do for this is we may have to add in, if we want, at least if we want to try and meet these goals, we have to add in more of these lines. Although interestingly, we're currently producing over 1,000 and it's increasing. We're up to about 1,100 now and it's still increasing. So total, because remember, we're stealing from these to make these. And so you can see we're getting close to the painted number here too. But what I don't know is if this line is going to be able to accommodate the 600 that this will need, or if we will need to add more than one more line. Okay, we did meet this goal. And the numbers are still increasing, which is really good and really surprising. It is. Okay. It's going to hit that 600, And this number is still increasing. Oh, it looks like it's stabilizing now. Yeah, we should be getting 700 of each. Okay, so let's slow this back down again. So we need to, from what we have now, we're making just about 1,400. We need to be able to make 2,700. So we need to double everything, which is kind of what I was figuring we would do. I didn't actually go this far. I stopped before I got to getting to the expanded factory. So we're gonna add 2 more lines of this, which was not cheap, by the way. And we need to change this once again. Let's take this up here, and I want to move this down somewhere else. I'm not sure where just yet, because I want to keep the painted ones, or do I? How do I want to accomplish this? I don't know. No, actually, I want to keep that there. And I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. Let's see how big this thing fits in, or how this big thing fits in here. Next to it. Can't be too close because it cannot connect those two, so it needs to go right there. And what did it not let me place? That one there. Okay, I'm fine with that. All right, so what I want to do is I want to, I want to take this belt out, and I want to do a right turn here and a left turn here, and then I want to move these belts out here. And then I want another left turn right here. So what I've done is I've taken the unpainted blocks that are coming along this way, and I've put them onto the side of the belt here, and the painted ones on this side of the belt here. And then I'm letting them come along this way. And then I want to have another mechanical arm here that only picks up unpainted toy blocks. The painted ones need to pass because we don't want to repaint them. That would be bad. And then I think everything else stays the same. And I think this might just work. We need to, of course, extend this belt here down to there. And since I use the copy feature, that might just be enough. We'll see. Let's this is gonna have to ramp up, and this is gonna have to ramp up. Let's do just some increased simulation time here. Now, what I'm afraid of is, is there too much here? There's not. Okay, that's good. We're not packing the belt full, which is what I was concerned with. Coming around this goofy bend that I've done here, which might be able to be done better, but it works for what it works for. And we are not increasing our numbers just yet, but hopefully we will be. We already got a painted block coming out of here. That's nice. So let's do a 24-hour simulation. So we're going to hit S. We're going to pick 24 hours. It's like bullet time, except the exact opposite. And we're just going to simulate this for 24 hours in the offline simulation mode, or in the, whatever you want to call it, simulation mode. Bullet time, only the exact opposite. And it got up to about 250x at maximum, which is, I don't know, probably pretty good, because it simulated a whole day in a fraction of the time. So we've managed to output everything, but not quite enough unpainted toy blocks. And I'm not sure how I could throughput limit that enough that we could limit the output of this so that it didn't use, or the input of these, that didn't quite use all of them. because we only want this to use 1200. We don't want it to use almost 1400. We would rather those extra 200 go into this. And I don't know that you can actually control any of that. Can you control how often these swing? Doesn't appear to be so. Can you add unnecessary lag time somewhere in the process? I don't think so either. So maybe I just need to add one more of these lines, that fifth line that I fortunately gave myself room for. No, I didn't give myself room for it. Crap. Oops. Got to think about this one now. Let's do something different. Let's take this, turn it around to there, and then let's put down a T-splitter. I think will do the job well enough, I think. And then we can just copy this area here. And let's see how that simulates. Let's do another 24-hour simulation. And once again, got up to about 250 times the speed. Now, did not quite pull it off. Interesting, because it still has that capacity. That's unless I messed up something. No, I didn't. Exactly. Huh. This I might have to do differently. I need to pause for just a moment. I'll be right back. And welcome back. I don't know why that came in like that, but it's okay. So we need to find a different way to accomplish this. We need to be able to grab the items off of this, to grab the logs off of this belt, and I'll put them onto a single linear belt here. And so the easiest way to do that, or to use maybe a different belt configuration. Let's see if we can do a configurable belt and make that do anything better. If it outputs... No, I don't think... You know what I think we can actually do with this? Let's try something different. Let's delete that. And let's move this there. I think we can grab from there. And that might just be the solution that I need. Let's switch this around. Let's delete this one. And we'll just put a regular old belt back in here. Now let's see. Yeah, that works. I think it works. Let's make sure it works. No, it doesn't work. Dang. Okay, well, let's think of something different then. Maybe we can just do... So I guess what I should have done is I should have swapped these. Let's clear the belt. And let's swap these inputs. We want to have cans of paint here and wood logs here. And then I want to change the way that this is a bit. Let's see. Yeah, we need to move this twice, but that's fine. Let's move these around a little. Let's move this belt here. And then we want to have a left turn here. And a belt here. And here I want to use a configurable belt. Like this. So the left lane, which is going to be the paint lane, goes straight through. But the right lane is going to actually be a right turn here. And that's going to take the wood off of the belt and put it onto this side belt here. And I think that'll accomplish what we want to accomplish. Of course, we got to let everything fill up again here. That looks like it's working. That also keeps us from having a huge buffer of wood on this belt where we don't need it, which is kind of nice as well. Okay, it is working. Great. So, that fifth line should give us what we need now that it's working fully. Hopefully working fully. Yeah, it's working fully. The biggest problem that I see now is that the speed at which the mechanical arms move, is that documented in the help file? It's not. Okay. So, if it's not enough to get this one... Yeah, it's not enough. It's actually not enough to provide enough for 5 of these. But there's also not a way to unload faster because you can't load or unload from any other side of a table or a machine besides the front. So in order to accomplish this, I guess we'd have to have 2 of these cutters, which is doable. Let's try that. Let's just do like this. And then we'll do the copy tool. Like this. And we'll just have 2 of them. It's fine. Okay, it's working. Maybe? Yeah, there it goes. Great. So that should actually solve our problem now, I think. It's going to give us more than we need of the painted ones, but that's fine. Let's simulate just 12 hours, maybe. That might be enough to tell us. Simulate. And all objectives have been completed. So now we need to submit the factory for inspection. And it's going to do its own 24-hour analysis. And make sure that it actually does meet what we claim. Alright, so we output a lot of stuff. Holy cow. That's awesome. And A+ rating though, which is also awesome. So I got a couple of achievements in Steam, one for an A grade and one for the Child's Play win, which is the scenario we just finished. So I'm going to return to the main menu here, and then I'm going to click on the new game again and the scenarios. So that unlocked the next scenario, which is beer bottling. But instead of playing the scenario right now, I want to actually go and show you what the Campaign Sandbox looks like as part of this episode, even though we're not going to actually get time to play it. So let's go ahead and start the campaign. This gives us an awful lot of settings here, none of which I'm really sure what is good or bad or change or not change. I mean, obviously starting cash, the more money you have, the better. It says default's 1 million, but it started me at 500K. Well, let's pick that to 1 million. And then grant to loan ratio, how much is a grant versus how much is a loan? Or maybe we want to turn that down. 25% is, oh, how much of your cash is a grant that does not need to be paid back? Let's do 75% then. So that's still only 250K that we have to pay back. It's going to simulate the planet for a while before the game begins. So 12 months is the amount that's default here. And less simulation means a less stable economy. More simulation means fewer opportunities present at the beginning of the game and therefore a harder game. So we want to be careful with that, and it says it's a billing of the year is the best one, so we're going to leave that alone. Planet population multiplier, 100% sure. Gross domestic product multiplier, 100% sure. Competitor AI strategy delay. How many days separate strategy sessions? 1 is daily, 7 is weekly. Where AI competitors can open up new factories, expand old ones, snap up valuable purchase offers. Lower is more difficult, of course. We'll go ahead and stick with the default here. Raw materials price multiplier, so we'll leave that at the default. Retail price multiplier, we'll leave that at 100% as well. Real estate market, 100%. Logistics market, probably 100%. And logistics speed, probably 100% is the default. So I think we're going to leave all those regular, or all the same. And let's start a new campaign. So the campaign mode, so there are locations in the world there are industrial parks, cities and towns, and gatherers, which has different types of icons depending what type of gathering you're doing. So we're being presented with a whole planet of opportunity at once, which can be a bit overwhelming. So we need to try to find these icons to get started. The economy and opportunity. The economy of uFactory is a detailed economic simulation down to simulating individual household purchasing habits based on age, salary, economic class of household residents, and AI-driven marketplace pricing. It means that supply, demand, and prices are all in flux. Its variables change. A town with more children will buy more toys than one with more adults. Poor residents will prioritize buying essentials, whereas more affluent residents will spend freely on comforts. People will buy certain products like food or fuel more often than they buy others like vehicles or furniture. The AI companies in this economy will seize on opportunities to profit from extreme conditions and, in doing so, stabilize the larger economy. You can try to do the same thing, or you can seek to use temporary instabilities in the economy in other less direct ways. Many real-world economic principles apply here. Experiment. Finding opportunity. With the breadth of uFactory's economy, finding an opportunity for profit takes knowledge and experience. But here are a few shortcuts. 1. Open the product list from the top menu bar and sort by price to find the most expensive products. If any of them have several buy offers but few or no sell offers, that's a prime opportunity for manufacture. Visit towns and look at what retail stores are trying to buy. Filling those orders can lead to nice, steady income stream. Expenses. Don't let your overhead be the death of you. Don't forget to factor transportation and rent into your profitability calculations. Resources and product. uFactory has hundreds of resources and products you can manage and produce. Finding the right ones to make a profit can be tricky. Here are a few tips to help you land your first profitable deal. Resource and product categories. Resources are broadly broken down into 4 categories. Raw materials that are grown or mined from Earth, usually... Oh, it didn't let me finish reading. Interesting. It was generating in the background the game here, and it didn't let me finish reading everything. I don't know if I can go back to that or not, but we kind of got the gist of it, most of it. So it simulates an entire world here, small world, obviously, but an entire world. So we have like mines and farms. What are the producers? That's a factory of some kind. That might be at mines and farms. And then there's incinerators. There are factory or industrial parks, and there are towns. So we kind of need to do, and this is where it kind of gets overwhelming. Yeah, oil is even counted as a mine. So I guess there's just the 2, or just the 2 resource icons. Oh, here's one. A drilling has a different icon as well. Drilling League of Parker Dehydrators. So salt and water. Okay. And then we have, oh, here's loggers too. There's a different symbol for them too. So there are a few different symbols. Okay. So it said look at the products and look for something that has a high market price and very little already being sold. Now, children's toys, i.e. rubber balls, may not be the best thing to sell, that's insane, by the way, 600 units per case, or $600 per case. But, you know, maybe something a little bit cheaper. However, we want to find something that we can easily produce as well. And that's where this part of the game, as they mentioned in the thing, gets kind of overwhelming, because I don't know what all the recipes are. I don't know... Is white chocolate easy to make, or is it hard to make? Is, you know, sacks of road salt easy to make, or is it hard to make? That salt mine, that place that sold salt, that you might just be one step to go from salt to road salt sacks, like just packaging it or something like that. I don't know. We can click on it, and we can see that we need to have empty linen sacks. We need to add calcium chloride, sodium chloride, and more calcium chloride, and then seal the sack. Well, that's a lot of steps. And how do you make calcium chloride? How do you make sodium chloride? This isn't, or maybe it is. The scroll bars you can't apparently do. No, I don't think that's how you do it. So we'd have to figure out where to get calcium chloride from. We already know where we can get salt from, for example. So, you know, maybe we maybe that one's not the best one to choose. But we would want to find something that maybe that we could produce very easily to start with, like 1 or 2 steps in a process, from raw material to sellable material. And maybe that's some of these cheaper items, like, oh, hey, here somebody needs some empty beer bottles. Maybe you can make glass easily if you can find some source of sand. Somebody wants to buy raw linseed. You know, maybe we just go from a farm selling linseed. I guess that's just the sale. That's not a purchase. Okay, so never mind. Maybe. Hydrogen gas is they're selling it. Can we? Are we? Hold on. It's not telling me who wants the item though. It's only telling me, oh, purchase orders. There we are. Okay, so maybe we go back down. Oops, go back down to that linseed one, for example, if I can find it again, or one of these other raw materials. You know, lager yeast. No one's purchasing, and there's some people selling. So there's probably not anything there. Ale yeast, no. So there's probably not anything where we can just, you know, make some money off of transportation. Maybe they don't have the game set up that way. Here's the linseeds, and nobody wants them directly. But you know, linseeds, maybe we can take the linseed and we can make linseed oil, and then the linseed oil can be turned into oil paint or varnish, and then the oil paint it's not that one. So I think, you know, this is where I was talking, and the game acknowledges that it gets overwhelming fast, and you know, maybe oh, here it is. We need pigment plus the linseed oil to make oil paint though. So, you know, then we have to figure out, okay, how do we make pigment? Well, you make pigment in a mineral grinder by grinding pigment. Okay. Grind pigment needs flower petals. So can we get flowers from a flower plantation? Maybe. Let's go up here to the top, and then sort, and then do flowers. Flower petals. Yeah, so we could potentially buy flower petals and buy the linseed. Linseed itself, and we could make oil paint. And sell the oil paint for 33 units a case. Now, I don't know the process well enough here to know if $33 per case is worth it. You know, with linseeds costing $11.77 a case, and flower petals costing $3.68 a case. It might be a good deal, or I might lose money on it. So, you know, it's kind of one of those, you know, where do you start kind of thing, and it's just too much. So what I'm hoping with this game, as the developer works on it more, and that's why I think I'm not going to play this campaign mode, just because I think that I would rather wait until the campaign is actually done, because this is the campaign sandbox. I'm hoping that the campaign starts you out kind of small and says, okay, you know, this town wants this item. Here's a small factory in an industrial park, maybe already for you. Industrial park. Industrial park. Where's one at? You know, here's a small factory for you. Here's a. This is an industrial park. That's a city. Here's an industrial park here. So, you know, here's a farm selling linseeds again, and here's a factory and there's also a farm selling flower petals. This one's selling milk. This one's selling Flower petals. Okay, well, this is kind of the thing we were just talking about. And you want to deliver those to your factory here in this industrial park, and then hopefully deliver them to this town that's also nearby that might want some oil paint. Totoya Motors might want oil paint, or, you know, maybe one of these construction DIY places might want oil paint. Cans of paint, you know, yeah, maybe that's what we have to do. So that's the kind of thing. Maybe the game starts you out with a simple kind of self-contained area, and guides you into through the campaign into more and more, and eventually you have an entire world worth of, you know, factories going like this. But to throw you into this, especially without much more guidance than the tutorials, the handful of tutorials, even jumping into the let's save this just to save it, and then let's jump back out into the main menu. You know, and no, yeah, the scenarios, you know, maybe some more of these scenarios, pigmentation station, for example, we could work through some more of these scenarios and learn some more of the processes and the steps in the processes, and maybe then playing the campaign would be a little bit easier. But for me right now, after the amount of time I have in the game, I don't feel like I can handle that, that campaign sandbox without really like spending a lot of time on it. So we're gonna end this episode here. Let me know what you think about this game and these 2 episodes that we have already, and because we could come back and work on some more of the scenarios. Those I think are straightforward enough, and you know, teaching enough, or self-contained enough that it would be worth it to do. And then, but otherwise, you know, we'll definitely come back to this game as the campaign is fleshed out more to take a further look at that. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.